Good evening. I'm the Texas Deaconess. I'm glad you could join me tonight for this lesson. We're studying Women of the Bible, and this lesson comes out of this book, All the Women of the Bible, by Dean. It's an interesting book to have. Tonight we're going to talk about Eunice and Lois. The names may be not familiar to you right away. They're the mother and grandmother of Timothy. So we're going to delve a little bit into their life tonight. Timothy, the son of Eunice, the mother, and Lois, the grandmother, represent one of the strongest spiritual trios of any family in the New Testament. The faith of the mother and grandmother seemed to have prepared Timothy for that greatest of all compliments which Paul later bestowed upon him and called him my dearly beloved son. And in 2 Timothy 1 and 2, you can read that for yourself. Only because of the early training that he received from his mother and grandmother could Timothy earn this fond term from the childless Paul. He loved Timothy as if he were his own son and spoke of him with genuine pride. Only one verse in the Bible gives us a clue as to the character of Timothy's mother and grandmother. Paul himself, writing this verse in the second epistle to Timothy, said, "When I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in you, which dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that it is in you also." This is 2 Timothy 1 and 5. That sentence is the complete Bible biography of these two women. Now, one line is all that they wrote about them. But their immortality comes entirely through their son and grandson, who was associated with Paul for a long period of time. Paul sent Timothy out on the most delicate missions and put him over his most important congregations. Eunice and Lois had prepared him for such responsibility. Their home was at Lystra, a city in the Roman province of Galatia. Timothy's father was a Greek, and his mother was a Jewess. We do not have the father's name, and we presume that the father died when Timothy was an infant. No doubt his mother, being a widow, had to go forth and earn her living outside the home. We are given no information about what type of work she did for a living. But a large part that the grandmother played is an indication that the mother was home, away from home for a great deal. In fact, the word grandmother appears in the Bible only once, and that is in connection with Lois. We can make sure that she was a believing woman. Eunice and Lois seem to step right from the pages of the Bible and tell us that nothing is more important in a mother's life than early training of her child. No record is given of the conversion of the faith of this mother and grandmother, but such records are really not necessary. The life of their son and grandson is sufficient for that. Just suppose Timothy had not come and had the home training that he received up to the age of 15 years when Paul converted him about AD 45. On his second visit to Lystra, just after his separation from Barnabas, God led him to Timothy. Though Paul had lost a brother in Barnabas, he gained a son in Timothy. The young Timothy left his mother and grandmother and went forth with Paul and Silas to preach the gospel. We can be sure that Eunice and Lois knew well stories from the Old Testament, then called the books of law and prophets, and they had given Timothy a knowledge of all the great judges and prophets, and also the wisdom from Psalms and Proverbs. Paul knew better than any other that the religious faith of Lois and Eunice had been handed down to Timothy in overflowing measures. Paul best expressed it when he said, "And that from a child you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Christ Jesus." What more lasting memorial could the Apostle Paul bestow indirectly upon Lois and Eunice? They had taught him a right sense of values, and he could understand with Paul when he said, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." And that's in 1 Timothy 6:10. You know, that's a verse that you hear partially a lot of times in your life. Look up 1 Timothy 6:10 and read it all. The words of Paul fell on an understanding heart, for at a young age Timothy had been grounded in upright living by his mother Eunice and his grandmother Lois. You know, every man and woman has the opportunity to bring up a child in the ways of the Lord. Your chance to raise a godly child needs to start early. The choice is yours. Read them stories of the Bible heroes and wise men and women. Do your children know more about Noah, David, Moses, Hannah, Sarah, Abraham, Timothy, Paul, than they do about superheroes, or worse, the Kardashians? Decide today. Take them, not send them to church. Teach them to love the Lord at an early age. Remember this from Proverbs 4:11. I have taught you in the way of wisdom. I have led you in the right path. Give these words some thought. May God continue to bless and forgive the United States of America. May God continue to bless the Republic of Texas. And may God continue to bless you and yours.